Hi, welcome to my second review of a short story that appeared in the June 1981 issue of the Twilight Zone magazine. This story is The Assignment by Mitch Potter, and the art that accompanied that, full page art that accompanied that story, was provided by an artist by the name of Charles Waller. The story begins with a student named Chad Tolliver thinking of horrible ways to die, something that appears to come very easily to him. Number 111 on his list is death caused by a satellite falling through the roof and smashing him at the dinner table. Death number 112 would be a lightning strike hitting a telephone line, then traveling down the wire and frying him while he holds the receiver, because this story was written back when there was a thing called landlines. The final entry on his list, number 113, is caused by a herd of escaped laboratory rats that lock him in a cage and force him to drink diet soda until he drowns. I would read that story. This is a part of an assignment for his Ancient History 101 class that the teacher is given to come up with 100 ways to be killed in everyday life. Only they have to be imaginative, entertaining, if you will. No plane crashes, no car crashes, no lung cancer, heart attack, stroke, nothing so pedestrian. Tolliver doesn't think all that much of the assignment outside of what it can help him in his long-term plans for the class. That is until a former classmate dies in a manner that is identical to one he had put on his list. The assignment is the second of two stories from the Zone's June 1981 issue that I do remember reading 44 some odd years ago. Turns out there were four things about it that had become lodged in my memory. One was the teacher's never ceasing knitting and, more importantly, cutting of threads. Another was Chad's panicked outburst when Miss Morey, the teacher, extracts two green threads from her sack of threads, and as he's watching her weave them into whatever it is she's knitting and begins to go to cut them, he bursts out, "Don't cut those wires." There is a revelation shortly thereafter that stuck with me. Then there was the ending, which, while I did find one review that called it predictable 44 years ago at the age of 13 or 14, I didn't think it was all that predictable, but as a 58-year-old man, yeah, I can see an argument being made. The fourth memory about this story was jogged while I was reading it because one of Tolliver's friends makes a joke about his uncanny resemblance to the game show host Bob Barker. It was a detail that had lodged in my memory, but the source of that detail did not. So it goes. I thought this was a good story. It's a solid 3.5 stars. It's not going to rock your boat, but it also would have made a pretty good short segment on the rebooted Twilight Zone that came out in the mid 80s. I could see this being one of their 15-minute shorts, but coming just before or just after a 30 to 40 minute yarn. It would have fit in perfectly. I tried to find some information about Mitch Potter, but the Internet Science Fiction database only lists this particular story as his only work. There was another book called The Smoking Gun that was written by an author named Mitch Potter, but I could not see any. There was no reference to having written a story that was published in the Twilight Zone, and nothing about anything beyond having written that book. So I don't know if they were the same person or not. I don't know. This appears to be his only published short story from the standpoint of this review. Um, and the Internet Science Fiction Database, that's the only entry they give. Potter did give some information to the editors of Twilight Zone, because when Ted Klein, who was the editor at the time, did his little introduction with bios and anecdotes about the authors, Potter said, "The idea for the assignment came from an educational psychology course I took at Illinois State. The teacher, an elderly woman, gave us the assignment mentioned in the story. I turned in a bunch of top-notch ways to die." He also got a pretty good story out of it. While, as I said, while it's no classic, it does have its moments. Obviously, they stuck in my memory, and you can't ask for anything more than that. Anyway, on to the next story and on to the next project. Have a good day or night, and stay scary. Bye.